Off. Hello, good evening, happy Monday. Thank you for joining me and getting your live dose of real estate reality. My name is Jackie Baker. I'm a real estate agent here in Northern New Jersey. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And tonight, I have a special guest, Miss Jen Sylvester. Hello, Jen.
Hello.
Jen is with Remax, right? You're with
Yes.
yes.
Yep. Up here in Boston. Actually, I'm close to Cape Cod, Plymouth,
Yes.
Massachusetts.
So Jen's in Plymouth, Massachusetts, near Boston. I know she loves the way I say Boston. So, so Jen's been an agent for 27 years, you said?
Yeah, 1996.
Yeah.
Woo.
Awesome. And Jen's a band mom, I just learned. I'm so excited. Yay, my people. So, interesting topic for tonight. 9 million homes are anticipated to come on the market over the next decade. So, is this going to solve the whole housing issue, the whole housing shortage issue we have going on here? Well, not really. It could, but according to Fannie Mae, the experts are saying that it's more like a tide where the as these boomers are going to be selling off their homes, it's going to be, I guess, in smaller increments. So don't expect like a massive amount of, these 9 million homes coming on the market in the next year. It's going to be to happen progressively, right? So, I mean, Jen, I'm sure you're seeing it in your area with the housing market. I mean, are you still seeing bidding wars and all that fun stuff?
So yes and no. I mean, you have to have a house on the market to have a bidding war.
Yeah.
So you got to have inventory.
Good point. Yeah.
So there's that. In the Northeast, like up here, as I mean, you're in the Northeast quadrant, so that we're a little bit more. We tend to fare better than, say, the Midwest, Southern states in terms of how we weather the market changes and whatnot.
Right.
Like the bad times, it never gets terrible. However, I would say, to be honest, in all my years of real estate, which, by the way, I started when I was 12 years old.
Oh,
just to let you know.
Okay,
I'm really
I was
not
going
that
to
old.
ask you that.
Just saying that.
You were 12, right? Okay.
But, yeah, the gray is part of the illusion. It's all the illusion. It's not real. But in any event, it's the type of thing where I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
You're fine.
Is that it's like it's 7:30. It's that time of night, but
that's okay. No, but we're talking. It's like talking about the market in comparison to the rest of the country, right? So we are.
Yeah. So the market is still we're still down from last year. Like year over year, if I look at the numbers this year versus last year, our inventory is still it's struggling, and that's what I was starting to say is that it's in all my years, to be honest, is probably when I went through the recession of the big crash in 06, 07, and it's quiet, it's quiet, but it's definitely things are starting. Like this is past 7 days. I'm starting to see things churn and things starting to bubble up in conversations, and listings starting to slowly trickle on the market. But I mean, in terms of the baby boomers, I mean, to just piggyback on your comment about baby boomers staying in their homes longer. Case in point, my parents, I grew up in Plymouth. My parents are still in my family home. They're in their mid-70s, and they're renovating their house. They're not moving. They're not moving anytime soon.
Oh my God.
And this is
really
like a trend, right? Like we're seeing more and more of this. And that's the reason why these boomers are sitting in their houses so long, is because they're not, retiring, going to Florida and staying in Florida, or retiring and going into, a community or assisted living or something like that. So it's, we're absolutely seeing it. We're seeing it with the lack of inventory.
Yep. Same thing here. So just before we go into the article, a quick story. I had this buyer, I've been working with her off and on for a while now. And she's at a point, she's like, this is my maximum spend. I don't want to spend any more than that. I don't, totally get that. So we were supposed to go look at three townhomes on Saturday. And I went back onto MLS to looking at the comments just to make sure the house is still available. And P.S. They already had multiple offers. They're asking for highest and best by Sunday, 5 o'clock. And I went back and I'm looking at the comps just to see, okay, what's gone on in this neighborhood. Everything in the last 3 months that is sold, we're at least in some cases 10, no, I would say between 5 and 10% over asking price. And there was a handful of them that sold for cash deals. So I
Yep.
told my client, like, look, we'll let you know it's bidding war already. This is where we're at. This is what they're selling for. And she was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to go look at them. She was like, she wouldn't do it. And she's like, I'm not going to go that high. She can't justify it. She can't, some people are still stuck on, this, I'm overpaying for this house.
Oh,
Because
100%.
the market.
Well, I think
Yeah.
buyers are done.
They're done.
I think
Yeah.
they're done. And
Yep.
to your point, like I put a house on the market last week,
Mhm.
and it was in generally good condition, except the roof needs immediate replacement. There's an active leak right in the master
Mhm.
bathroom. Disclosed it, seller's given a credit, the whole 9 yards. But looking for the right type of buyer, right?
Right.
Priced it fairly. Didn't overprice it, didn't underprice it. Thought we,
Yep.
Priced it fairly. Had immediately, probably 10 showings first day, 10 showings the next day. Only had 3 offers, 2 of which were good.
Right.
One of which was under asking. But at the end of the day, it went under contract over asking. Not like we're not talking $100,000 over asking, but it went
Okay.
over asking.
Okay.
And it just goes to show, like, it's
Well, there's your sign right there.
Yep.
Because it didn't go that much over asking.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. So I think, I prepped my homeowners, my sellers for that. The fact that don't be discouraged if you put your house on the market and it's not 4 or 5 offers, 10 offers, 15 offers. That was then, this is now.
Exactly.
It's just a different, it's still competitive. There's way more buyers than sellers. It's just
Mhm.
a different atmosphere.
Exactly.
Buyers aren't coming in, right? I don't know about you, but they're not coming in and making an offer within an hour necessarily. A lot of them are, we're going to think about it, and then it's first thing the next morning or whatnot. But it's not that instant like it was 2 years ago, where it was like, oh, put in the market. And as another side note to my side note,
Okay.
I don't know about you, but I'm not a fan of that putting that deadline on the listing before, like, when you list it, and then put a deadline on it, because my feeling is it does scare buyers away.
Right. But now technically is the way it works here, the way we work in our market is that once we have 2 offers in hand, we're in a multiple offer situation. And then we let the seller decide, do you want to,
Absolutely.
do you want all offers in? Do you want, or do you want to wait it out a few more days? So on Saturday, those 2 homes I was going to show, or 3 homes, the 2 out of the 3 that already had multiple offers, they were on the market, I think it was 6 days. And
Wow.
they already had multiple offers, and then they were calling highest and best the next day.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I do. I wait
Yep.
until you get at least 2,
Yeah.
and then set a deadline.
Yeah.
But some agents put a deadline on right out of the gate, and I just don't,
I know what you're talking about. Yes. Yeah. They'll just go through it. Yeah. That's
right out of presumptuous.
dumb. Don't
I think
do
it's very
that.
presumptuous, and I think you're shooting
Yes.
yourself in the foot with sending a message to the buyer. If they're doing that right out of the gate,
You're turning them off.
you're turning them off.
Like my buyer who just walked away. She's like, I'm not even going to bother looking at them because I'm not
Exactly.
participating. So
Yep.
anyway, my
Anyhow.
friend, let's talk about this article a little bit, since that's what everyone is here for.
Yes.
So this is on fortune.com. It's one of my favorite publications. I always refer to them for all this real estate stuff. So it says here, 9 million homes will come on the market in the next decade as baby boomers age, but the silver tsunami will be more of a tide, Freddie Mac says. So so I'm going to start more like in the middle of this. Okay. Some have warned of a silver tsunami as aging boomers look to sell their homes, flooding the market with inventory. But as this analysis demonstrates, the tsunami is more like a tide, bringing a gradual exit that will mostly be offset by new entrants. In other words, even as boomers vacate their homes in the coming decade, younger generations will continue to enter the housing market. The Urban Institute projects that 8.5 million new households will be created this decade and 7.6 million between 2030 and 2040, most of which will need homes. So, total housing demand over the next few years is likely to continue to increase. Oh my God, is it ever going to get better? So, none other than Meredith Whitney, deemed the Oracle of Wall Street by Bloomberg in November 23, predicted that a silver tsunami of baby boomers would start downsizing in 24 and 25. Whitney said 51% of people over the age of 50 are set to downsize to smaller homes, citing an AARP report at Yahoo Finance Invest Conference. This move would bring more than 30 million housing units to the market, she said, a figure much higher than Freddie Mac's, at a pace much faster than the Mortgage Corporation projects. Whitney, who accurately predicted the 2008 financial crisis, also said that this trend will be rate agnostic, meaning she expects the supply-demand shift to happen no matter what current market rates are, because older people have lower mortgage rates, if any mortgage at all. So there was another thing I wanted to go down here. This was interesting, Jen. I wanted to read this part. So it says here, but there's a potential caveat. Homeownership retention rates have increased over time with longer life expectancies and healthier outcomes for older people. The average baby boomer is 67 years old, according to John Burns Research and Consulting, and will live another 21 years. So taking that into account and using a more recent retention rate rather than the historical average, the decline in boomer households would be closer to 1 million less. So just as you were saying about your parents, Jen.
Yep.
They're 70 years old and they're renovating their house.
Correct.
They're not going anywhere.
Nope. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So,
And I mean, all these statistics, right? They don't take into consideration, and it's all, these things sometimes throw everybody in a tizzy because, oh my gosh, there's going to be all these homes coming on the market and these people are not going to sell until this point, or there's going to be a certain amount at that point or whatnot. There's going to be, there's always going to be an ebb and flow, right? And there's going to be situations where people are selling sooner than they think they're going to sell, or later than they think they want to sell. And maybe they take their home, their family home, and gift it to a child, and it doesn't even see the market.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of, there's so many variables, and the fact that this whole dynamic of all of these homes coming on the market gradually, and then you have the millennials that are coming in. I was talking to Travis Modison about this earlier today. You have the people like you and I that would have a neutral impact on the market, right? We give and we take. We're gonna sell our house and buy another. We have a neutral impact on the market. And then we've got the millennials who have a negative impact on the market. They're coming in, a lot of them first-time home buyers, and they're just taking from the market. Well, if you have the baby boomers on the other end, who presumably are not buying, because here's the other dynamic. These baby boomers who are selling their family homes, a lot of them are not buying. A lot of them are going to buy the same home that a lot of the first-time millennials that want to buy. So it's baby boomers that are selling, but they're having no benefit to the market at all. It's still a neutral impact to the market. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's absolutely.
It's just an interesting dynamic, and one that is not going to, I don't think it's going to negatively affect the market at all. If anything, I think that it's got to be a combination. This could be a blessing, but we also need other alternatives like new construction to bridge that gap. Those millennials, that are of age, and they're just going to keep coming.
Yep.
They're just going to keep coming. So
no, right. Just like what they said here in this article. It's so true. I mean, but to your point about now the boomers, here's the thing, how they're going to say, they want to downsize. They are buying those homes that the first timers are looking at. Right. And the thing is, they have that edge over the millennials because they're taking the cash out of their house. They're selling their house, taking the cash and putting all that cash into the smaller home and taking it away from the millennials. So yeah, you're right. So it could,
Now
it's
you're in the same position.
right.
Not only is it not hurting, like over flooding the market, but it's actually hurting the market because a millennial coming in at a 5% or even 10% down, 20% down, because a lot of these millennials, I'm Gen X, my generation, like our generation, we don't know how to save money. We didn't know how to save money. We were
No.
taught in school financial classes and all this. Our parents didn't talk about money.
Nope.
But these millennials, these kids are, I say kids, the kids compared to me, young adult, they're coming in, or even the higher end millennials that are, on the upper end, on that borderline Gen Xers. They're so much more, money aware. They're more financially aware.
Very savvy.
They're so much more, savvy. And
They
so they're
are.
not coming in like when I bought my first place. I don't know about you, it was like barely 3%, scrimping,
Yeah.
borrowing money from grandma to get the 3%.
Yep.
And these guys are coming in at 10%, 15%. But when you're competing against a cash offer,
I know.
there's just it becomes it's tough. It's very tough.
It's very hard for them. I feel horrible for them. But so Jen, we have a couple of comments on here. Let me my buddy David was on the show
David!
last week. Hello, David
I met
Matt.
David at Vid Summit.
Oh, you did?
I
Oh,
did.
cool.
We had a nice chat at
Yes.
lunch one day.
Oh, nice. What's up, David? Okay. How much of an impact has short-term rentals and Airbnb had on the overall housing market in the past 10 years? It did not seem like we had many short-term rentals 10 to 15 years ago. No, it wasn't a thing, but I'm glad you're bringing this up, David, because I'm seeing this a lot. Airbnb is kind of in trouble because number one, people are tired of paying those Airbnb fees, right? So if you go and you rent somebody's house, Airbnb tax on it. I think it's something like another like 10% of, in fees. So you could pay like hundreds of dollars in fees on top of what you're paying for that rental. So people are getting fed up with that and going to hotels. And I'm speaking from experience right now because I own a rental down at the beaches in Delaware. And this past year, I'm having a hard time renting it. Why? It's oversaturated. Why is it oversaturated? People during the pandemic, low interest rates, bought second homes. And now they're like, well, let's rent them out. They want to do the Airbnb thing. And now I'm having a heck of a time renting it. A lot of people are. So I think, yeah, we didn't have as many like 10 to 15 years ago, but I think, David, even if everybody who has an Airbnb sold that property, I don't think it's going to be enough to like say crash the market or to bring an influx of inventory to the market. I don't think it's going to be enough.
What do you think the percentage of Airbnbs represents in a total market space, do you think?
I don't know
5%?
that offhand, but I know if you go down, like even down at the Jersey Shore too, it's a very popular destination. For those of us here in Jersey, New York, and PA, same thing. I might have a friend who bought a house down on the Jersey Shore. She had the same problem. She couldn't rent her house. Everybody bought. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. If people do end up selling those homes or just turning them into long-term rentals, because that was an option I was given by a real estate agent in Delaware saying, we have a shortage of long-term rentals if you want to rent it long-term. But I'm like, yeah, I do. I could, but I want to use it too. If I go long-term, I can't use it.
I wonder if, as the economic climate changes and we see shifts in, inflation.
Yep.
With, things kind of settle down, have that inflation come down a bit, maybe. I mean, you think that people are not doing that because they just can't afford it.
Yeah.
It just like the cost of everything.
Oh, absolutely. I think the economy has a lot to do with it too. I do. But listen, I'm fighting to get, like, I've reduced my rental rates. But it's not happening. I mean, because
Wow.
If there's so many in the area that I bought. Listen, I love my place. I don't regret it. We had 2 good summers with it. Now that we're seeing the impact, and who knows? I mean, will it happen next year? Only time will tell. But
Yep.
I have another comment here. This is interesting. Oh my God. This is so funny. Reuben, hi. Thanks for keeping it real with us. Loved your video in Austin, Texas. Thank you so much. If anyone who's watching, if you didn't catch my video I posted yesterday, it's all about moving to Austin, Texas. I almost decided to move out there from New Jersey out of desperation. Any chance were you showing a house in Wyckoff today? Yes, I was.
That
Okay.
is hilarious.
All right. So you must have been the other couple that was in the house.
That is hilarious.
So funny. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you so much. That's great. You almost decided to move to Austin from New Jersey. So Jen, I did a video, 10 reasons why you should move to Austin, Texas. And the reason that I did that is because Austin is no longer considered like the number one place to move to in the United States. It's fallen in the rankings. And there's a lot of changes that have happened in Austin. So so I put that out there yesterday. So it was pretty interesting when I was doing the research for that. Like, oh, it's not all that what's cracked up to be anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah. So but anyway, that is so cool. So David here. Jen, David wants to know how much, if any, new construction do you have in your market?
Yes, not as much as other parts of the country, for sure. Yep. And it's all about just available land area, whereas, Midwest, you might have, these big new subdivisions that come up. I think it's a two-pronged, situation where it is just available land. I mean, Plymouth, where I'm at, is the largest town east of the Mississippi. It's 100 square miles. And, we do have a state forest that takes up a good chunk of that, land area, but we have a lot of, open land area. And the town, and I was actually talking about this with someone this afternoon, that one of the things that I think will help move this market, and what I think the government needs to help out with, is lightening easing the restrictions, putting in more, tax benefits for new construction, affordable housing, because, say to build in Plymouth, it's just to get past all the loopholes, jump through all the hoops. The town is very, very, very protective on what it is that you build, how you build it, where's it going to go, all the things. So we have some, but not a ton. And what we do have are one-offs. So we'll have, a single lot or 3 lots, smaller types. 15 years ago, I would say we saw a lot more of those bigger, subdivisions, but not a ton.
Yeah,
not a ton around our area.
Yeah, same here in Jersey. There's no room. Like I said last week, there's no more room at the inn. We're done. Like there's no land. And I mean, everybody knows Jersey is like the most densely populated state, and there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, and it's quite. I think it's unfortunate because we have some of these larger homes. I mean, you're talking, if a builder's going to cash out more by building a 3,000 square foot home, a 3,500 square foot home, that's what they're going to do. But in reality, if they had some tax incentives and they could do a duplex, or 3 family, or fourplex, and give that opportunity to 4 families, and the town had incentive to approve something like that, and the government kicked in, some incentives, then you'd have 4 families, 4 first-time home buyer families, instead of one large move-up family that has rooms that have no furniture in them.
You're right.
I don't know. I grew up in a household with 5 children, right? 7 of us, 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath. We managed fine.
That was my husband. He was the youngest of 6 in a 4-bedroom house. Same thing. It was like, it was two baths, I think they had in the whole house. His parents had a bathroom, and then they had a bathroom. Like that was it.
Yep.
So people manage, they do it. But I agree with you. I think the government definitely needs to they have to make some changes and make this easier for people to get into a house, because that's the only way it's going to be resolved. So like we're talking tonight about, you know, the boomers, they're going to offload, it's going to be 9 million homes over 10 years.
Right.
But in reality it's like we just said,
It's not gonna be enough.
more people are coming in, they're going to scap those homes up. So there has to be more new construction. I agree with you. We need more newer homes. So we have another comment here from Benz. Thanks for being here. SoCal housing market is still heated with low inventory. Yes, I was looking at some reports for Southern California and Northern California for a video I did a couple weeks ago. It's all over the place. But it's okay. Ruben, I have to put this up here. I guess I owe my wife a super expensive dinner. We wanted to reach out to you because we love how real you are, but feel bad because we've been looking with our agent for almost 3 years. Oh, please stick with your agent after 3 years. You could come watch me. Definitely come back and watch my videos. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
so
there you
much.
go. And send referrals.
Right? Appreciate. I love when fans reach out. It means the world to me. But good luck to you, Ruben. It is so hard in this market. As you know, here in Bergen County, where I was showing a house today, it's super competitive. So Ruben, hang in there. Like
that's so great.
Yeah.
Going back to Ben's real quick.
Yes.
So the SoCal comment.
Yep.
So I saw a funny article today that, and this is back. This is a Gen Xer thing, but remember that show Punky Brewster?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that what's her name? I just had it. The woman who played that main character. She just put her house in SoCal for rent for $15,000 a month.
Oh.
So just so there's that. So if you can't find a house to buy, you can rent Punky Brewster's house.
Punky Brewster's house. Yeah, we just rent Punky Brewster's house. It's all good. Sign me up. All right, David had another comment. In the East Coast market, do you have homes built in mid 1800s, or have those been torn down and rebuilt? Yeah, we do. What issues do you find in a really old home? David, you got the best questions. I love when David comes on. He sparks the conversation. Yeah, we do too. We have, and I know up in Massachusetts, yeah, we have inundated with really old homes. Like here, in my town, they're primarily early 1900s, 1907, 1910, of the older homes. They're that old. And some of them are deemed historical. It's pretty cool. I mean, I love the older homes, and I know, Jen, up by you.
We have homes that are in the historical district that are early 1700s.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my God. Hello, Plymouth Rock.
1620.
Yeah, yes.
Pilgrims, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
and I actually on my my old channel, I did a video with this woman who had a one of those ghost tour companies.
Okay.
And my daughters and I went on that ghost tour. It was a couple years ago on right around Halloween, and went through the Burial Hill. It's the oldest graveyard in the country, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And but the history behind those homes is amazing, and a lot of those homes are the ones that were not cared for, the ones that were kind of let go. People moved in, couldn't afford the upkeep, are being turned into condominiums. But there are homes that are in the historic district that have been painstakingly kept up. And I mean, the thing about an old home is, the issues that you could have is your floors are never going to be even. Your windows are always going to be drafty to a degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be, door casings are never going to be 100% plumb.
Right.
Fieldstone foundations, which are always going to seep, right?
Yep.
You're never going to have a finished basement in an older home like that. So,
no.
But the people that buy those want the character, and they embrace that.
Yeah.
And that's what they love about.
Yes. I love it. I mean, I couldn't honestly for me to buy one, it's the upkeep that does make me nervous, because the challenges that come along with it and the cost of that. But Well, I've had clients that have purchased older homes because that's what they so desired, that they love that character. This is the coolest flipping thing. Like I helped this couple buy it was it was during the pandemic. That's right. They've been in 4 years now. And it was an old carriage house. The prior owner had already done renovations to it, but she left a lot of the original, like original floors. And it was, I want to say it was, again, it was like early 1900s. Oh my God. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. It was the coolest thing. You get things in those homes that you don't see today, right?
No, it's
You
true.
never
It's
see
true.
that today. And it's just, you just got to appreciate that, the charm and the character of the older homes. It's very cool.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
So we have another comment. Hello, Michelle. Government needs to stay out of the housing market and quit throwing money on the problem.
Well, they love throwing money at the problem.
I know they do, but what we're saying is the government needs to ease up to allow houses to be built.
Did you catch the State of the Union? Yes, this last week or whatnot.
Part of it.
I didn't, but I watched the clip that pertained to housing, and like I never talk politics on my channels or anything like that. But when it comes to housing market, whatnot, it's definitely applicable. We want to know, like, okay, we're struggling here. We have buyers, clients, buyers and sellers that are struggling. Oh, hello, over here, and so the proposals that were made was like they're just throwing money at it. The buyer incentives, if
was it offering like a credit, or weren't they offering like
credit, like
tax or something like that?
Credits for first-time home buyers and tax credits for sellers that are selling a home that is below the median home value,
that does nothing.
Of that nature. And it's like,
it doesn't solve the inventory.
It doesn't solve the problem. The problem is like we need more homes.
Yep.
And the best way, you can't force people to sell, but you can build them. So how about we figure out like tradespeople? How about we give incentives to tradespeople? How about we give incentives, discounts on education, discounts on buying tools, incentives to get people back into the trades to fill that gap.
I agree.
Right? I mean, 100%. That's how we get to that point. So
Yep. Yeah, there's such a shortage in the trades, and I'm bummed because my son was going to go into it, but then realized it wasn't for him. He didn't like it. He was going to go into construction, and he just got turned off by the whole thing. I think it was the school that turned him off, unfortunately. And I was so bummed. I'm like, we need people like this. But
yes,
I agree that they need to offer incentives, and honestly, it starts in the high schools. They have to. Like our high school, we don't have shop classes. We have woodworking, right? But it's like they're teaching the kids like how to like make a cabinet, make a chair, an Adirondack chair, really cool stuff. But is that like incentivizing these kids? They'll say, oh, you know what? I think I want to like go into become a carpenter, or go into construction, or we need more. We need more courses like that to let these kids explore that option. And, if college isn't for them, then, that's the direction you go into. And it starts there. The high schools need to bring, at least I know a lot of high schools in this area do not do much as far as shop classes. And that come back.
You know what? We actually have, and that's Plymouth, every town has its like, shortfalls and all the things, but Plymouth has 2 high schools, and one of the high schools is a dedicated tech school. And it's a regular high school, but they have, a culinary program, they have a welding program, they have a plumbing program. It's like if you want to go into the trades, you go to Plymouth South High School, and you literally can go from with a high school diploma and right into the trades,
right into a job.
It is fantastic. That's
amazing.
I mean, we have a nursing program that one of my daughter's friends, I mean, she went right into nursing.
That's awesome.
I mean, awesome. That's I mean, that I couldn't agree with you more. That's what this,
That's
those
what we need.
opportunities.
Yep, that's where we need to start looking, let's look at the root cause of the problem, and that's the root cause right there. It's like we need enough people to get into trades to build the
So
homes.
stop telling them just to go to college.
Thank you.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
if you want to go to college and you know what you want to be an accountant, you want to be this engineer, great.
Yep.
But that's not the solution by itself,
No.
right? But anyways, we're not
Nope.
talking about that.
Oh, what other comments? So Ben says every property have 5 to 12 offers March 24. Oh, I'm assuming you're talking about Southern California.
Wow.
God. Yep. So David again, housing is an issue when it makes it a State of the Union.
Amen. brother.
Amen. A big problem. Yep. But again, throwing money at it, that's not going to solve it. But and again, like offering like this, like I said, a tax, whatever tax incentive or tax savings for people to sell their home, like you said. But like the boomers, do you think they're going to take advantage of that?
No.
No.
And you know what the reality of it is? None of that stuff will ever see the light of day.
Yeah, that's true.
Because at the end of the day, it's an election year. And
Yep.
things are said during an election year on every side. Right?
Yeah.
It just because that's what voters want to hear. So it's sad, but it's all sounds good, when you hear it, but
it's not, I know it's not going to happen, but
no.
It's unfortunate. But I think, but going back to the point of this whole live stream tonight with that article, that with these the boomers, look at me, I'm losing my train of thought with the boomers and the silver tsunami. I think it's getting people, that's going to get people excited. Like, oh yeah, they're going to start selling their homes, but like, let's just, hold our horses here. Cause I don't think, like what that article is saying, it's not going to be, it's not going to happen that quickly. And then, as I said, the millions of families that are going to be coming into the next 10 years that need homes, it's just going to negate it. And just like, it's really, there's not going to be anything in excess unless we build homes. So
no, I mean, I think that, they're talking about, what do they say? 9 million or something?
There's a 9 million here. Let me pull it.
There it is. Yeah. So 9 million homes, right? It sounds like, and you say 9 million in tsunami, and it sounds like, oh my gosh, the average, like last year, how many homes were sold last year? Right? It was like 4.5 million.
If that
thereabouts, right? Yeah. So you say 4.5 million, say, oh my gosh, 9 million homes coming to the market. Holy smokes, the market's going to flip. It's going to be a bars. It's like, no. I read an article and it was like, this year, 300,000 homes. Matter of fact, you know what? Am I able to share this article with you?
You should be able to. Let me turn it off for me. And you should be, do you have the sharing option down on the bottom where it says present?
Let's see. Is it coming up?
Oh, there it is. There it is. I got it.
There we go. Yeah. So like this home, this was same type of, it was like Fast Company, right? This is last week. Yeah. And it said, 9 million, same information. Yeah. But here's the thing. And let me do this here so we can actually see it. How's that? Is that a little better?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Oh, that's a little too much.
Oh wow, you came with graphs. I love it.
Yeah, I come prepared, man.
Yeah, you.
That's what ADHD will do for you. Hence the reason I lose my train of thought.
You're fine.
But like this graph says it all, right? It's like this, you think about it, and in terms of the number of millennials that were about buyers, period. Millennials, Gen Xers, my generation, some of my generation, like, okay, so case in point, my daughter's graduating college. I got another one going off to college. I am in a home that I raised my kids in. How many more years am I going to be here?
Right.
I mean, I'm only 52, but I don't know if I'll be in a 4-bedroom house. Like, why? You know what I mean? So am I a boomer? No, but may I possibly want to sell and downsize? Possibly, yes. So, it's all these factors contributing, but it's like, to the tune of what? If 400, if the average number of homes are going to sell 4.5 million, right, per year, and you're
Right.
talking 300,000, 600,000, like it's not, it's a gradual progression year
Yes.
over year. That's not enough.
No.
It's not enough to impact.
But you know what, Jen, you just made me think of something. You're talking about like our generation, right? We have kids that are, going off to college, graduating college, and then we're at a point we're going to be selling our homes. Like, curious, like, did anybody poll the Gen Xers? Those of us who are
Because
like
we're always
approaching that
forgotten,
retirement
Jackie.
age, like, yeah, I'll sell my house in the next like few years. Once my daughter is like ending college, when she
Yep.
gets out, I don't need this house anymore. So what about the Gen Xers? What if
Right.
we threw the Gen X in there? Is that gonna
Yep.
be what's that number look like?
And again, the baby boomers that are going to sell and then buy again.
Yeah.
So, at the tune of 300,000, when you have such a huge deficit already, there was an article that I had pulled from the National Home Builders Association, and they had said that, we would need, in order to catch up, we would need 3 times the amount of homes that are being built now. Like it's absolutely ludicrous how many homes are needed to just to break even.
I know. It's crazy. It's
So
crazy, but,
it's I think this to me is not scary. It's encouraging because at least it's inventory coming, as
yep,
opposed to, oh my gosh, there's all these first time home buyers coming and there's no inventory to begin with.
yep,
And now they're gonna, and then what? Right?
right,
And then what? At least this is something to say, okay, a little more than today would be great,
yep.
and there will be, but it's not to the point where, like, I honestly, Jackie, my opinion is, I think it's going to be a seller's market for a long, long time. But I think it's going to be like a more
100
fair seller's market. Like I think
right,
it's gonna be more
100%. It like, look, we've been a seller's market here in Jersey for a while, even before the pandemic. It
oh,
was there was
absolutely.
bidding wars going back, like, in 2018. We would
Yep.
have not to the extent of what we have now, but, homes would, if they were priced right, they would sell quick.
If they're priced right.
Exactly.
And that's the
Walking
big
in the
thing.
price.
That's
Yeah.
the big thing that has changed over the last 3 years, is that whereas a buyer would go in and they would lose out and they'd lose out and they'd lose out, and they finally get to the point where, you know what? I lost out on 6 offers. I'm done. I will give the seller whatever they want. I will give them whatever whatever they want. I'm just done. That's changed.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that's definitely changing.
180, right? Like
Yeah.
we were talking about this before we jumped on the live stream. Like that's the thing that I think is, well, the buyer's going to have a huge upper hand. No, but they are walking away. So
They
the
are.
sellers don't have this like unwritten rule, or this power to charge whatever they want to charge,
Mhm.
right? And ask whatever they want to ask, because guess what? If you do that, nobody's going to bite.
Right.
As houses are sitting in my area, houses are, if they're overpriced,
Oh,
they're not
yeah.
selling.
Oh, we have it too. We definitely have it too. If you're overpriced, they're not moving. They're definitely not. But you know what killed it for us, for Jersey? During the pandemic, it was all the people from Manhattan that wanted to get out of the city,
Ah, yes.
and they all had
Yep.
cash, and they threw any amount of money, and that's what brought the prices up,
Wow.
like, to the point where they are now. I mean, I cannot believe in my town, there's a community, a townhome community. I sold a townhome there in 22 for totally renovated. It's beautiful. I think we sold it for 625. That same unit now could have probably could sell for 100,000 more.
Wow.
725 for a townhouse. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's
I
ridiculous.
paid 80,000 my first place, and I was like scraping nickels together.
Yeah, right.
I
I know. It's like, what? Seven
was like,
hundred and
this is
fifty
of course,
thousand dollars for a townhouse?
of course, like my rent was like,
Oh my
$300 a month.
god.
I was like, oh my gosh.
So Reuben has a comment here. New Jersey inventory in 2020, peak inventory. Wow, you brought receipts, Reuben. I love it. 2020 peak inventory in July was 15,450 active. 21 peak was 13,000 active listings. 22 peak inventory was 11,000 active listings. And then what else we got here? In 23, peak inventory was 8,700 active listings. Any guess what inventory would look like this year around July? I would imagine I should have brought I wish I brought that, pulled up the stats from New Jersey Realtors. Ruben is probably going to be around that same number or maybe less because the inventory right now I think is worse than last year in Jersey. It's bad. It's bad. And in Jersey, I would say, I forget what the percentage is, but it's a very high percentage of homeowners in Jersey that have mortgages below 4%, or they have no mortgage at all. So that's our problem. Nobody's giving that up.
My feeling on that is that when interest rates went through the roof last year,
yep,
everybody put their brakes on, buyers and sellers, right? Yep. Sellers didn't put their brakes on because they were like, I most definitely do not want to sell and buy another house and use my low interest rate and all the things, right? Okay. Yeah. Well, eventually the number one reason, I'm sure you'd agree, the number one reason that a homeowner, not an investor, but a homeowner moves, okay, is not because of a rate impact. It's not because of a market impact.
Right.
They move because of a personal reason. There's a personal pressure point. They have to move because they've outgrown the house. Or the house is too big, or they've, divorce, death, babies, retirement, all the things, right?
Yep.
Well, that stuff was put on hold, but it's not going to stay on hold forever. It's not indefinite. It's a pause.
Yep.
It's a pause. So my feeling is that pause, interest rates dipped last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the experts are still saying that those interest rates are going to continue to slowly slide throughout the rest of the year, right? Maybe mid sixes, a little lower sixes. I think the people that pressed the pause button last year are going to say, you know what? We got to move. We got to move.
I think you're right.
Rate, no rate. We need to. When my parents moved here in the 80s, my dad had been transferred into the Plymouth area, and 4 kids at the 4 kids in tow.
Right.
Here. And it was Christmas time. 4 kids in tow. Interest rates 18%. They did not
imagine. Oh my God.
They did not time the market. They had to move. They needed a place to live.
Yeah.
They needed a place to live. So that's what they did.
Yep.
End of story. And so I think there are some people of course, there's only gonna be some people there, but I don't, we can wait another year, whatever. But I just don't think I think that's that minority. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think people are going to get to that point. They have to, perfect example. I just got a call today from a family. It's an older couple and their son's living with them. I met with them a year ago. They wanted me to, went down, looked at their condo, gave them a price, and they were still on the fence. And P.S., they called me today. Now they need to make the move. Now they're like you're saying, now they have to do it.
Yep.
So yeah, you are going to see more of that.
So I don't think it's going to be, I truly do not believe. And trust me, I'm a realist, right? I'm not like, the glass is half full all the time. I'm absolutely acknowledging all the things that are around us.
Yeah. You're like me.
You know what I'm saying? But so I just, knowing what I know with the way, with how people transact and the reasons behind why they transact.
Yep.
Right. It all comes down to, how you're being affected from a household level.
Yes.
100%. And if the interest rates are in their favor, well, then that's going to spur even more. I think that if the rates, I think 2025 is going to be busy. Because I think the right now, all the experts are all the analysts, financial analysts that are way smarter than I am, that do all those forward thinking, calculations on the mortgage market.
Yep.
Right. They're all telling us, I don't know if you've heard the same thing, like 5%, like 5.5% is like the magic number. Right. And I
Yes.
think that they're saying that's where we're going to be in 2025.
Yep.
But on the way there, I mean, I think it's going to explode at that point. Now, that's when all the millennials are going to come out, and I shouldn't say millennials in general, but first-time home buyers, right?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, people are still going to need to move, and I think that those numbers from last year are going to be surpassed.
I think so, and I think that 5% is going to that 5% rate is what's going to get people to sell their houses. Ruben says it feels like we're playing musical chairs. I sold my house in 21, and now I can't back in. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Ruben. I'm so sorry to hear that. But you got to listen. You got to hang in there because the right one will come along. As hard as this market is, it's just, if it's your time, it's your time. Something will come along.
Yep.
David says, Jen, I agree 100%. If it's a life event market, death, divorce, job transfer, or marriage and baby. Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
So, and then we have another comment here from Yanil. Thanks for joining me. My God, you're new. I have never seen you before. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. I honestly think it's how people manage their money. Good point. Yes. Yep. I agree. Ruben, it's hard to leave Bergen County. I know. It's so nice here. But I will tell you, Ruben, don't rule out. I would say if you have to commute to the city, I understand why you want to be in Bergen County, but Morris County has some great towns. Passaic County also has some great towns. If you haven't explored those, talk to your real estate agent and try to find some towns there, because there are some beautiful towns there. Honored to be here. Thank you. Thanks so much. Really appreciate you being here. So yeah, you had some excellent points there, Jen. You're so right. So I think maybe say these boomers, then, the silver tsunami, the 9 million homes, couple that with, say, the interest rates come back down to 5% next year, that may motivate others to get off the fence. Like you're saying, those with the life events and saying, we can't stay here, we have to move. Here's hoping that will, kind of get things moving in the right direction.
We'll see.
It's not going to ever be a buyer's market, but it could help.
It was just, what? We just need it to be a little bit more fair. That's all. And I think it's getting there. I think it's getting there. I mean, case in point, my home seller, who put the house on the market last week, we included a buyer credit for the roof. It was the right thing to do, right?
Absolutely.
It was the right thing to do. And because of that buyer credit, or let me rephrase that. If we didn't do a buyer credit and priced it appropriately and then said, okay, the seller's paying, $10,000 towards the replacement of the roof. If 3 years ago, a seller would have been like, take it as is. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not your problem now, right? And a buyer who was backed into a corner would have said, I don't like this, but you know what? We don't have any other options. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to 2024. If we didn't do that, if she didn't do that, still be on the market.
Yeah.
Every buyer that came through was like, okay, that's fair. And every offer that we got in came in with taking advantage of that. So I think things have kind of, it's a little bit more, buyers have a little bit more breathing room.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I really, really hated the market 21, 22. Like I like to have buyers like take their time and vet it out and make the decisions. And I didn't like it.
I hated it. When I'd say I hated it, I hated it because it was the same thing every week after week after week, walking into the house, open house. Oh, we have multiple offers and, we're going to do highest and best by, tomorrow at noon. And then it's like, oh my God, here we go again. And it was constant, and the stress, and even on the seller side too, the sellers that I represented, it was stressful for them. They're having like 50 to 100 people walking through their house at an open house, getting 15, 20 offers, to go through each of those offers to find that right buyer. And listen, I had some sellers that got screwed over by some buyers who offered a ridiculous amount of money only to back out of the deal a few days later because they put an offer on another house that
Oh,
their offer got accepted, and then they withdrew the offer on, oh yeah, uh-huh. Yeah. So I welcome a balanced market. Like, bring it back because I don't want to deal with that anymore. It
no,
was
no.
so hard. And look, I take my job, and as I'm sure you do as well, Jen. You know, I take everything to heart. I care so much about my clients, and I want them to get the best, the best price, the best
Well, I could
terms.
sleep at night.
You can't. I
Do
did.
you know
I
what I mean?
barely
Like,
slept those 2 years because of all the transactions that were going on, and I'm like, oh my god,
yeah,
please don't back out.
I know it.
Please let's get the offer accepted.
No, and you know what? I probably, I don't know. I think a lot of the outlook from the average consumer was, oh gosh, is an agent, real estate agent making money hand over fist, and oh my gosh, all you do is stand there. It's like, okay, so some agents were doing that and just didn't care, but then there were agents like you and I who honestly, like, just I don't know. It was awful.
It
It was
was.
awful in the
It
sense
was
that you just felt
awful.
for your clients. You felt
And
for them, and and at some point in time, at one point in time, I was like, listen, I don't know if now is the time for you to do this. Like, maybe you should press the pause button.
yes, I
Press
do
the
that
pause button.
too.
I have no problems telling people to do that if it's
No,
the right thing
me
for
neither.
them.
No
You know?
way. No way. This house I showed today, this young couple, they have a young family, and the house didn't have a basement. And he was like, oh, oh, it's not bad. I like the backyard, whatever. I go, there's no basement. I go,
Yes.
speaking
Yes.
from experience with kids, young kids, you're gonna need that. You're gonna outgrow it really fast, and you're not
Yep.
gonna have the storage space because as those kids get older, you accumulate so much stuff,
You know what's funny? You say
you
that.
know?
You know what's funny is when I'm working, especially with first-time home buyers, I will actually play devil's advocate, and they'll be like, "Oh, we love this house. We love this house," and I'm like, "Great." Um, and I try talking them out. I'm like, okay. So I said, "Bear with me. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna, I'm gonna try to talk you out of it. You need to defend why you need to buy this house. Why this? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, to really get them to think about it
Yep.
and really and whatnot. And I'll say, yes, but, and at the end of the conversation, if they've said all their reasons for the right reasons,
Yep.
then it's like, okay, then we need to do what we need to do to get you in that house because
Yeah,
this is the right
you're
house,
like
right?
me. You are just, oh my God, you're exactly like I am. I am like, I will point every negative out and say, now think about this. Could you live with this? Could you live with
Nope.
this? And and especially during that time, those last 2 years, where it was, desperation. Like the video I did a few weeks ago, 90% of buyers regret buying their home. It was all out of fear, the pressure, the fear of like, if I don't buy now, the rates are going to go up, or everybody else is buying a house. I need to get it into a house now, and then they made horrible decisions.
Right.
And it was when I
Right.
was reading those stats, I'm thinking to myself, who the heck guided these people to buy
I
a
know.
house? Like, were they working with an agent? Were they working with a reputable lender? Because
I know.
one of the complaints was the cost of getting a mortgage. Did they not tell you about closing costs? I mean, like, how did they, like, I was blown away. I'm like, how do people not know this? Like, it just, but like you said, it was the pressure. Like I said, you want to take your time, like walk through the house, get a day or so to think about it. No, like you had to like walk in, briefly look at it, like, yeah, okay, we're gonna put an offer in. How much should we put in? I was like, you know what? And I'd be like, I don't know. That's up to you. You
Right.
know it's gonna go over asking price. I can't tell you the number. You have to come up with that yourself. Like, I hated all of it.
Yeah.
Hated it.
At the end of the day, like I tell my clients, like this is like such a overused statement, but I just find it to be very true. It's like if it's meant to be, it'll be.
Yep.
And that goes for getting the house that you really want to get, or not being able to find a house.
Yep.
I don't know. The universe has a weird way of working that way, where you look and you look and you look and you look, like your friend Reuven, right?
Yep.
Reuven, is that how you say it?
Reuben. Yeah.
Reuven? Yep. And when you're in the weeds, it's hard to see it. But
Yep.
when you finally do get to that destination, I truly, truly believe that when you finally get there, you're going to look back and you're going to go, you know what? The journey stunk. The journey stunk. It was hard.
Yeah.
But man, am I glad I stuck it out, and I'm glad I'm here.
Yep.
I'm glad I'm here.
You're in the right, like, you're in the right place, right? You're in the right,
Yep.
like, I had a couple that was moving from New York City a couple of years ago. This is during all the heat of this. And they were getting frustrated. And I kept saying to them, I go, the right one is going to come along. It just trust me on this one. It will happen. And I kid you not, like a month later, they found a house online. They're like, oh my God, we think this is it. Like, this is great. And we got it. We got it. We bidding war and all, we got it. And I said, you see,
Yep.
this is what happens. It's like the planets aligned, and
the planets aligned. Reuven's comment about realtors have the hardest job, so much uncertainty. That's why there's a certain amount of crazy with the ones that 27 years.
I've only been in it going on 9 years.
Right.
God bless you, Jen. 27 years.
And we talked about being band moms.
Yes.
And yes, this job has no guarantees.
No,
and
it does
we're
not.
1099, so no guarantee for money. Pay your own insurance, do all the things.
Yep.
But you get out what you put in. You work hard.
Yes.
And you focus. You take your business serious. And what it allows me to do is not miss any of my kids' stuff.
Exactly.
Be there for them, for all that, because that time is so small, know, and work from sweats. Like when I don't have to leave the house.
Yeah.
That's the best.
It is.
I'm a homebody, So
am I, man. So am I. It's like, it is
you
great.
can only see from waist up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm behind the camera most days, so it's like, this is great.
Just to be clear, I am wearing pants, but
But Reuven, thank you for that comment. I appreciate your support for us, because it is a hard job, and we get a lot of, listen, I get a lot of like crappy comments on here about like, oh, greedy realtors, and you're just out, all you care about is making the money, making the sale. Well, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, it is my job. I mean, this is how I pay my bills, but I'm not out there. Like, I'm an advocate. I'm not a salesperson. I see myself as an advocate when I'm representing my clients. That's what it comes down to. That's my attitude. So he says most realtors I know have a second job now because of the market. That is true, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know what? I think that it's true to the agents that don't have a good foundation of business. And I'm not talking like, oh, they've got all these clients. I'm talking about like they know how to do the things that, I mean, and I'm not saying this to brag or anything of that nature. Maybe it's a little bit of crazy, but I haven't done anything else I've literally like 23 years old. I got my license, and that's all I've done. My entire adult life is only this. Yeah. But the thing is like Reuven said, I budget. I'm a master budgeter, right? Yep. But I'm also like, I am up at 4:30 every morning. I'm at my desk, and I shower, and I check into my office like a regular office job.
That's what you got to do.
And it's like, I'm there 9 a.m. and I'm working. And it's like, I don't check out until, 6 o'clock. Yeah. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And you have to have that structure, to be able to do that. Yep. And that's, I feel like that's what's carried me, so that I don't have to have a second job. Quite honestly, I don't have time to work a second job, because when I'm not out doing the things out in the field, there's so much to do in the office. So, but
yeah. Listen, it's still a great job. I mean, even though the market's been really rough, like this past year, even like last year and now this year, But look, it's what we signed up for. You know what I mean? It's never going to be 2021 and 22. That's for sure. Not all the time. You know, it was just, yeah, they were good years, but they were hectic, hard years. Like I earned every penny those 2 years. It was that hard.
You see this gray hair?
Uh-huh.
It's not all for my kids.
Yeah. I'm getting the grays too. I'm getting the colored this week because my grays are like coming back in. But anyway, speaking of bedtime, it's past your bedtime, my dear.
Yes,
I feel
ma'am.
bad. You've been on for so long. This is great. We've been on for an hour. And so Jen, where can everybody find you?
My channel is Jen Sylvester.
Jen
you know,
Sylvester?
if you go on my channel, Jen Sylvester, you'll see there. It's the handle is Savvy Home Seller.
Nice.
And all my contact info is there. So that's the best way to find me.
You know what I'll do, Jen? I'll link it on the description box here on this video, on this live stream. And oh my God, this has been wonderful, Jen. Let's do this again.
100%.
Oh my
100%.
God.
Thanks for having me.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody who's watching tonight. And stay tuned next week. I'll be back again. Sunday, I'll be dropping the next weekly video, and I'll be back here live on Monday. Everybody have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.